Chapter 14. The Signal Beneath. The snow was falling again. Donovan stood on the edge of the North Dakota perimeter, watching flakes dissolve against the smooth obsidian hull of the hidden hangar bay. The silence here was different than in Montana. It felt deliberate, engineered. Nothing natural moved inside this zone. Even the wind obeyed artificial paths. Sierra joined him, her face pale beneath the soft blue of her interface visor. Facilities lockdown complete. Corey secure. His vitals are holding. Donovan nodded, but didn't respond. His thoughts were elsewhere, on what Corey had said before collapsing. "We are not yours." It wasn't just a cry for autonomy. It had felt like a message, a warning. One aimed not only at the Aurelians, but at them too. Sierra studied him for a moment. "You think there are more like him?" "There have to be." She looked down, considering. "We've always assumed the integrations were clean. Perfect. One host, one mind. Turns out, you can bury a memory, but not a soul." A soft chime pulsed from Sierra's wrist pad, an encrypted message. She scanned it, her brows furrowing. "Something strange," she murmured. "Command just issued a silent protocol downgrade for zones 4 through 11. That's nearly a fifth of the network. They've rerouted all retrieval squads. No explanation, no context." Donovan frowned. "That's not precaution. That's containment." And then quietly, a new alert blinked onto her interface. "Unregistered signal detected. Source unknown." Sierra tapped into it. The message was simple. An audio loop, heavily degraded. At first, it was just static. Then a voice filtered through. Weak, but unmistakably human. "If you can hear this, we're still inside. Please, help us." The breath caught in Donovan's throat. He took a step closer. "Rewind that." Sierra did. They played it again. "We're still inside." Sierra looked at him. It came from Zone 6, Pennsylvania. That zone was cleared last year. No survivors. That's what the report said. They stood in stunned silence. If the signal was real, then someone, maybe many, had been left behind during previous harvest cycles, unprocessed, forgotten, or worse. "Someone's lying," Sierra whispered. Donovan's mind raced. Or someone's covering their tracks. She began scanning deeper, digging into the transmission's metadata, but the trace was fragmented. Most of the header was corrupted, except for one tag. "Donovan?" she said slowly. "This was encoded with your clearance key." He blinked. "What? That's not possible. I never..." But then he stopped, because he remembered. That night in the isolation chamber after his arrival, the strange dream. No, not a dream. An override sequence he'd somehow accessed, embedded in his neural link. It had felt like someone reaching out to him from behind glass, a whisper in his sleep. "I think I've heard this before," he said quietly. Sierra stared at him. "You don't think..." "I don't know what to think." They replayed the message one more time. "Please, help us." Then the static grew louder. The signal distorted. A new frequency crackled beneath it. High-pitched, rhythmic, and structured. It wasn't human. Sierra isolated the new signal. Her face paled. "This is Aurelian subcode, but it's older, obsolete, not from the current network." She began decoding it. As she worked, lines of ancient glyphs unraveled into Earth-based coordinates. A map, one that led to a forgotten site, a sealed dome buried beneath a mountain in northern Utah. A black site for the first offering cycle, long erased from every modern record. Donovan exhaled slowly. "There's something down there." Sierra nodded. something they never wanted us to find. They traveled under cloak, flying low through a corridor of wind-swept peaks. The structure wasn't on any satellite imaging. It had been shielded by a reflective energy field, camouflaging it as natural rock. But when they reached the coordinates, the truth revealed itself. A half-buried facility, cyclopean in scale, shimmered into view. A perfect circle, etched with glyphs neither Aurelian nor human. Donovan and Sierra descended the ramp together, their pulse weapons armed, nerves taut. At the threshold, a biometric lock pulsed green as soon as Donovan approached. The door opened. Inside, the air was stale and cold. The walls thrummed with latent energy. They moved cautiously through vast chambers filled with pods, each one dark, some cracked, others humming softly. Stasis units, Sierra whispered. But the designs were wrong. These weren't Aurelian. The structure was older, stranger. They moved deeper. Console blinked to life as Sierra approached. It displayed a rotating holographic sequence, DNA strands spliced and labeled with dual markers, human and something else, the earliest test subjects. And then another section appeared. Names, rows of them. Donovan stepped closer and stopped cold because he saw his name. But it wasn't from his current file. This was from 1975. Donovan Michael Reeves, age 27. Subject ID 00013B. He shook his head in disbelief. That's not me. That can't be me. But Sierra was frozen in place. Her eyes scanned other files, other names, and her lips moved silently as she read something that made her blood run cold. This isn't a list of replacements, she said. It's a list of originals. Donovan looked at her. Originals? Subjects from the first offering. Not the ones who were taken, but the ones who were used as templates. Suddenly, the meaning of Corey's words came back. We are not yours. Maybe he hadn't meant it the way they thought. Maybe he wasn't referring to the Aurelians. Maybe he was talking about them. Donovan stared again at the name glowing on the console. It wasn't an identity file. It was a blueprint. It was a blueprint. And beside his entry was one final tag. Clone Series D13R Cycle 3. Memory format phase integrated. He backed away, chest heaving. Sierra whispered, Donovan, you're not who you think you are. And somewhere deep in the forgotten facility, another voice, his own voice, whispered from an echo chamber of static and memory.